Hello there, welcome to the Firstborn tribe. Over here, we talk about the realities of a firstborn, the experiences of a firstborn, and how to thrive as a firstborn in today's world. And today, we are very pleased to bring before you a section with a fellow firstborn where she'll be sharing her experiences and how she has thrived as a firstborn till date. If you're joining us for the first time, you are absolutely welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope that you would pick something from this channel and stick with us. If you're yet to subscribe to our channel, please do well to hit the subscribe button below and also hit the bell button right next to the subscribe button where you get notified whenever we drop a new video. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Without further ado, I'll introduce to you our able guest today, Miss Rebecca Opeyemi Isaac. You are welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm really glad that you're here. So please just introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Rebecca Opeyemi Isaac. Professionally, I'm an health administrator. Right now, I'm a fashion designer, and I have a medical brand name of Healthcare. Thank you for having me.
I'm so honored to have you here today, and I cannot wait for this section. I know it's going to be a very impactful one, and without much talk, we are going to get right into the section. How was growing up like as a firstborn in your family?
Okay, I have a nuclear family of 3 siblings and myself.
Okay.
And a bunch of foster children.
Oh, I see.
So
you were firstborn to a lot of people.
A lot of people, actually.
Okay.
Yes. So it doesn't have to be my family, people we don't even know. Yes. So that's how it has always been growing up.
Okay.
And it has actually been a very impactful journey because I get to meet a lot of people while I am actually in my family.
Yeah.
And so, you meet people who do not have the same character as you, who cannot have the same tolerance level as your siblings or your parents. So for me, the firstborn journey in my house has actually, apart from being impactful, it's actually very tough as well.
Interesting. So were there times that you felt the pressure of being the eldest among all of this?
If you're a firstborn child in a country like Nigeria or as Nigeria, and you don't feel the pressure of being a first child, then you are probably not the first child. Nobody's telling you about it.
Or maybe you are in a home where you are not starting from the scratch.
Exactly. Maybe you are somewhere where
your parent has laid some certain foundation.
So except that.
But even though I think those people still have their own challenges though, but maybe not as intense. Okay, so did you ever feel like you were treated differently from your siblings while you were growing up by your parents?
I wouldn't lie. Growing up as a first child in my family, I was expected to do a lot of things. So I felt, I don't feel that way anymore now. But back then, I felt I was treated differently. First, my dad was my favorite among my parents. Now they are both on the same level. Yes, but back then my dad was my favorite amongst my parents because he was usually not at home. So when he comes, it's like I'm seeing a new person entirely every time he comes home. But for my mom, she was more attentive to every other person, inclusive our foster children. Compared to the way she attends to me. And my younger sister, that's my immediate younger sister. I used to feel she's the favorite of my mom. So in the home, yes. While growing up, I actually felt that way. Yes.
Okay. So was there a time that you felt the weight of being a role model? And how were you able to handle it? Especially now that you had a lot of people, in your house, inclusive of your siblings and extended, we can call that an extended family because of course your parents treated them like their children, right? So was there a time where you felt the weight of being a role model, being the eldest in the house? How were you able to handle and navigate?
Like there is a Yoruba adage that says, if there's an entourage of horses, all the horses at the back actually watches the one in front to know the speed. The one in the front controls the speed and whatever movement the entourage is going through,
Yeah.
the us in the front is the one who leads. Yes,
yeah.
determines what the speed of the
Yeah.
traveling, whatever it is. So there was a point really early in the family. All I felt was pain. Like I was always feeling, why is nobody seeing me? Why am I being the last one of the house does something, and then he's being supported, while what I feel doesn't really matter, But after I finished school, my tertiary education, I realized that I made some mistakes before even proceeding for my tertiary education. And when the same mistake happened with my younger sister, I knew it was time for me to sit down, buckle up. Everybody's going to take the same step that I'm going through. Okay, now is the time to be serious with my life, so that I won't, lay down some like the wrong paths for my younger ones. So yes, there was a time in my firstborn journey, should I put it that way, where I felt pressure. Yes.
Okay, interesting. So was there a time that you felt like you needed to choose between your needs and the needs of your siblings? How were you able to balance it?
Till now, I still don't. Yes.
If I would rephrase that question,
Okay.
do you struggle with balancing your need and the need of your siblings or parents?
As a firstborn child, there are times, though, maybe based on the kind of people that I've moved with over time, life experiences and lessons, I've been able to know that my life too matters. It doesn't have to be about my siblings alone. Yes, my life too matters. Now, like I've been saying, my family is a family where my mom is a very hardworking person, my dad is a very hardworking person on the side too. Both of them have different character traits. My dad on the other side is somebody who is very quiet, is very reserved. You can hardly tell what his needs are. It doesn't, you can't, my daddy would never like come to you and say, I need this. But my mom on the other hand, mothers, they can, we know what, when they are quiet, you know what it means. When they are talking, you know what it means. When they do their eyes, they give you a sign language, you know what it means. So for my mom's needs, I know my mom, once any of my younger ones has a particular needs, she gets, she's not like, she won't be okay, like, yes, she would not be very okay. So you can actually tell what the needs of the younger ones is by just looking at my mom. Yes. So, and now it now looks as though it is my mom that is like the picture where I get to like meet the needs of my younger ones. So particularly my youngest sibling, there was a time where we had some issues going on with him in the family. Like it was so terrible to the point that my dad was tired and he stopped talking about it. Like he stopped entirely interfering into that issue, and I was the one that was left with the issue. My two other siblings, it's not their business. It's not like they are not worried. But my immediate younger sister has 4 children. She has to take care of her children. Yes. My younger brother has a child and his own family. He needs to take care of his family. So who are the ones that are available? It's just me and the person having the issue. And then my mom and my dad. Now my dad is not really, like, he's so disappointed with whatever the issue was, and he was not interested in just it has to be me. There was a time in, was it not 2022, when I gathered money from the beginning of the year towards the ending, and I already had my business plan written. I'm going to start the business and every other thing. And then this issue came again for my younger brother. And I needed to pay a lot of money. It was above ₦1 million actually. And my savings had to go into that issue. And even after paying with my savings, I still pay for several months, maybe like 6 or 7 months after that time, paying the debts of the issue it actually cost. So it actually took time. Maybe when I actually finally had my own child, that was when I realized that I think it's time for me to start taking care of myself now. I need to take it easy. Growing up, my dad is the kind of parent that I would always say one would be proud to have a father like my dad. So also my mom. But my dad is so focus on the needs of his children. That when you're not doing some things, you know, you can see it in his countenance that it weakens him. So that was the reason why it looks as though that period he just let go of the issue. Like I'm not he almost disowned him. Like I'm not concerned, and I had to like
step in.
Yeah, step in. That okay, we can't all be pained at the same time. He's pained as a father, that's why I understood. But there were times really when the responsibility of taking care of your siblings, your parents actually weighed me down. Yes.
And I see a lot of stories in what you have just said, but we'll dive deeper as we proceed. But were there times that you felt you wished you were not a firstborn?
Yes, there were times that I felt like I shouldn't be the firstborn. Yeah, those times were times that this is more like a family thing. My mom and my dad were always having this particular issue. I don't know what it was, but it looked as though I was the only one who actually practically understood what was happening in the house. My younger ones were not. They were not. Our last born, I'm older than him by like 9 years. So you can imagine at that time he was way younger. The one before him was way younger. Even the one immediate, my immediate younger sister, didn't really have an understanding of what was happening in the home back then. And this period, I was the one that felt the weight more. My dad back then was my favorite. My mom had her own favorite, which was my younger sister. And I had to be in between. I wanted to support my dad as much as I wanted to support my mom. But I had to still be in between and be careful. So that period in my life, I really didn't want to be the firstborn. I felt like, God, why am I not the last child? So I worried less about whatever was happening in the house. Yes, there was a point in my life where I was supposed to be married to somebody. And his mom said these issues are issues that we've sorted out, but because I wanted to make reference to it, his mom told him practically, you can't marry her. Our mom and her dad fight a lot. Back then they used to have issues a lot back then, so you can't marry her. So you can imagine if I was the last child. I am certain like over time my mom and my dad, all of the misunderstanding got settled. Let me say maybe it was one of the early issues of marriage. You know, it takes time. Once they are going older in the marriage, they get to overcome get better understanding of each other, and then it gets better. They are still together today, at least 35 years counting.
Wow.
Yes. So you know, if I was the last child, what happened to me back then would not have happened. The mom personally said, no, you won't marry her. Probably
because you were the firstborn, and
of course,
maybe you'll be the first recipient of that negative.
Exactly. So I understand his mom now, you understand? But back then, I didn't have an understanding of it. I was pained, like, is it because I'm the first child? You know, there were so many things. If I go on and on, there were so many things that I've experienced that has made me regret being the first child.
More like you were at a disadvantage.
Yeah, being the first child. Yes.
Interesting. So what qualities have you developed over time because of your position as a firstborn?
Okay. Number one qualities that I know that I've developed over time, being a first child, leadership skills. Even before I left my family, I was always the one making decisions when my mom and dad are not there. There are issues that my dad would want to talk about that I would have to first of all call me, sit me down. Like when he wanted, like when my daddy bought his first land, he called me. I was in school. He called me and told me, Ose, I want to get a land. This is the location I want to get it. Do you think I should? This and this. We talked about it. When he finished building his house, he told me. It has actually taught me, it has actually given me a hedge as a leader. So wherever you find me now, I just automatically lead without, it has become something natural.
Flows.
Yes. Two, it has made me very outspoken. I am a very reserved person early in life. People who know me when I was young, when they see me now talking, they'll be like, is it this girl? Is it the same Okwe? But the thing is, you know, over time, because of I had to caution my younger ones, my foster sisters and brothers, this and this, family members and all that, I have to like be in position. My dad would have gone to work. He works on the island right from time. Would have gone to work as early as 4 a.m. My mom will leave the house 5 too. I have to prepare my younger ones for school in the morning, you know, cater for them in the afternoon, ensure we are all fine by the time my mom comes back around maybe 7-6 o'clock in the evening, and then my daddy comes back at night too. Sometimes they come in almost at the same time. So it has made me industrious too. Like, I'm very active. Yes. Like there is virtually nothing I can't do.
You can't be a firstborn and you're not active.
Yes. I get to, when my dad first of all bought his first motorcycle, I'll be the one who wash. I'll wash my daddy's motorcycle. When he got his first Mercedes Benz, I'll be the one washing. I'll warm the car in the morning. He taught me how to do all of these things. If he's not around, I'll be the one to operate the generator. I know how to change plug. I know how to change carburetor. Then aside that, being a firstborn, it makes you a manager automatically. If you're a firstborn child, and you don't have an inbuilt management skill, please check yourself. Yes, it has made me like to be able to manage over time. Because when I get salary, and then I look at it, I want to give my mom this, I want to buy this for my dad, I want to take care of myself, I will have to do this, transport fare, keep money for emergency and every other thing. You know, over time, it has made me like a manager.
And when you're talking manager, you're talking both financially, you know, the resources, managing structure of the home and all of that.
Yes, and I'm not surprised when eventually I became
a manager
in my career, like moved into hospital administration.
I think it's just natural with firstborns. Even in my life, I've also experienced situations where, you know, they just I think somehow it's written on our forehead invisibly. So when they just see you and feel like you should be able to handle this kind of situations. And I think that's an advantage indeed for firstborns, because there are a lot of things that we just automatically fall in and we are able to handle situations. It's not that the situations may not be tough, but we found a way around it because it's something that we have naturally fallen into, even from the home. So yeah, interesting. So do you think that your position as a firstborn has affected your relationships, your friendships, and how would you think it has affected this area of your life?
My position as a firstborn actually affected my relationships, my love relationship, to say. Yes, it has actually affected that a lot, positively and negatively. Yes, it has. I was citing an example of when someone's mother, one of my ex, his mom said, no, you're not marrying her because I know her family, I know what is going on. Now she can't say that today, that don't marry her. No, she won't say that anymore. We are now family friends actually. But you know, back then it actually affected how my relationship with this person actually would have gone. When he eventually got married, that was when reality set in, like, oh really? All of the things he has been saying, my mom said I won't do this, my mom said I won't do it. It was when he finally got married that I realized that, wow. So you know, because I was the first child and I was always in front, you know, she already know that, okay, this thing is going to probably affect this girl. My son is not going to marry her. So it affected my relationships. Aside him, you know, when I wanted to start dating other people, I was always cautious. You know, I told you that there was a point in time where I sat down and I felt if I don't watch it, my younger ones would follow the same path that I'm following. And then my friendship too. You know, as a firstborn girl, when you meet other friends of your age mates that are not firstborns, they see you like you are ruling them. They see these masculine traits. They feel threatened that you can do a lot of things. I had an issue with a friend recently. This is very, very recently. And I can tell, after evaluating this issue, I realized that she's just threatened. Over time, I realized that some friends will say, she's proud. She's too outspoken. She talks too much. She's this, she's that. If I am outspoken and I feel different from the other clique of my friends, I can't, because of my other friends now.
Your friends are quiet.
Yes, I'm not quiet. No, I can't be. If I go to a party with my friends, I am always the life of the party. Because I'm not shy. the kind of upbringing I have in my home, as a first child, if I'm not outspoken, they will match my head. It's a typical Edo family. You can imagine. Growing up, nobody called me auntie in my house. You know, it's reality. Growing up, nobody called me auntie. Nobody cares about auntie. Is Okpe, is Ose, Rebecca, anyone that you are comfortable, you will call me like that. You know, due to the environment we grew up in, Yoruba people, they were always batching my younger ones. Call your auntie now. Call your auntie, especially the one after me. That lady threatened me. Call your auntie. No, there's nothing like auntie. Oh. So if I'm quiet, you can imagine the way they would have matched my head as the first child.
So you needed to verbally establish your position.
Yes, every time. There was a time my mom told me, gave me authority. Like, you know, I said it before that I used to feel my mom likes my other immediate sister, yes, than she likes me. It was so evident when I was growing up. But it got to a point when my mom got tired that, okay, this girl now, you're beginning to match your elder sister anyhow. And then she said one day, 2 of you fight. Probably, I'm serious. Outside our compound, we stayed in a face-me-and-face apartment early in life.
Oh my God.
She pushed us outside like this.
Wow.
Yes. Apart from verbally expressing that I'm the first child, I needed to physically do it, and then authority. I have to place that staff of authority that I'm the first child of this family. You know, it affected my friendship because it's already a part of me. Anywhere you see me, I'm not.
I understand. Like, you're always coming with the full capacity of who you are.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's not like you really want to be a boss over anybody.
I'm not even bossy.
It's just because of where you're coming from.
Exactly.
So I feel like you need a lot more people with understanding to know that if you really come closer to her, she's not as bossy as you think she is.
Exactly.
It's just because of where she's coming from. Because most times I feel like firstborns having to deal with all of the things they've dealt with to get to a certain stage, they long for a space that will give them that liberty to be free, that liberty to play, that liberty to be babied. So I totally relate with that thing you said. But now, in that regard where you needed to physically, verbally establish your position, do you think your parents played a role in you having to do all of that?
Like I said, my mom had favorites. My mom had favorites. Yes, there were points that she kept saying it. That you can't be disrespectful to your older one, to your elder sister. They don't really listen. But when my dad is at home, everybody is in order. Until recently, maybe like I think 4 years ago, one Christmas, we had a family meeting for the first time as matured adults. And we trashed all of this childhood pain together in that meeting.
That's powerful.
Yes, my dad and my mom, they just called or sent messages. Everybody must come home for Christmas. And we sat in the room, and he actually expressed his pain over the years. This and this and this and this is what everybody is doing, and I do not expect. And when everybody started talking, we knew that it was time for us to come together and unite as a family, because there were so many, you know, because of that differences. I have this favorite. My daddy's favorite is the last child, and I'm me also. It was so evident, like it was so glaring. My mom, she prefers to like hug one of our foster children, that she will hug me when we're growing up. Yeah, it's the reality. Than she will hug me when I was growing up. So most of my mom's friends, my younger sister knows them. Like she knows where she does her business, who she transacts with. All of these things are things that a first daughter should know, you know.
Yeah.
So all of these things, I would like, they affected me while I was growing up. And they somehow automatically affected my relationship with people. I'm this kind of person that I trust people easily. You know, because of that deficiency, that love deficiency at home, I feel, okay, when I have a friend, the friend is typically mine. Yeah. She mustn't have any other friend. Once my friend has another friend, I cancel it off. This one is no longer my friend. So it affected my relationship while I was growing up. I have a lot of friends in the past that, you know, all of these things, I don't want to share friendship. It is not me and you, you know, because at home, my dad is supposed to be my favorite, He's not even at home. He doesn't stay at home with us. There was a time my daddy was working Monday to Sunday. I used to praise that man. Then eventually, he stopped working on Sundays. Even that Sunday, my dad would be in the church from in the morning to when we were attending winners at Ota, and we were at Yanopaja. My daddy would go and will not come back until in the evening. Is it the really like 2 hours that is remaining for him to rest? I will now say I want to talk to him. And my mom relatively has her own favorite. So all of the people I channel, I look for love from his friends. Yes, in the home was unavailable. So I stretched out looking for love outside. And it did a lot of damage to me as a person.
Okay, wow. Looking back at your life, what were the decisions you made based on the relationship in the home?
Okay.
Are you comfortable sharing any?
Of course. One of the mistakes that I made, I can say, I didn't want to stay in the house. I wanted to like leave the house on time. Back then, after my secondary, I finished secondary school at the age of 14, and at that point, I wanted to just go out. I was looking for admission by all costs. I went to a boarding school in Edo State, and my mom's uncle owns the school. I told my mom back then that let me go to Igara, that's my maternal hometown, and write my exam in that boarding school that I went to for my junior secondary school. And she was like, why? Then my mom didn't know I was trying to escape. That was my mission. These are one of the steps that I took that affected my life greatly. My dad wasn't at home till he has been transferred. That period, his company was transferring him from one part of the country to another. It was that time they were having that, that consistent clash. And I was the one. I'm the grass feeling the heat. I'm my dad's favorite back then. My mom had a favorite. She felt my dad was talking everything. I knew what was happening between herself and my dad. There was a lot of pressure. So I wanted to just leave the house. And my plans worked. I left. I went to Igara. And I will not lie to you. Me going there was one step to making the biggest mistake of my life. Just like I used to have abuse from extended family members, uncles. Like I had a similar abuse during my stay there. By now I should be maybe like pursuing a PhD. If I finished school 14. So if I had like stayed on track, by now I should be pursuing a PhD. I have a lot of things that I want to do as a person career-wise. I should have been able to accomplish all of those things. But that mistake actually pulled my life back, maybe like 10 years backward.
Is there any specific story that has lived with you because of your journey as a firstborn?
Yes, there is this particular one that's actually living with me right now.
Wow.
Yes, it's living with me. It will continue living with me, and every opportunity I get to talk to younger girls, everywhere I've worked, I've managed one hospital or the other. I've managed a couple of hospitals. Everywhere I find myself and I meet younger girls, I try as much as possible to tell them my story. Yes, there were some of these issues that came not entirely as a result of being maybe a firstborn, youthful exuberance, but this particular one came because I'm a first daughter. Yes. So my mom, my younger ones, my 2 immediate younger siblings, they settled down early, yes. And my younger sister already had 3 children as at this time. That was in 2020. She already had 3 children. I practically nursed the 3 children. Yes. She was in school. She had to teach. She's a teacher by profession. She has to teach, assist my mom and all that. And me working in the hospital, I would go. Maybe if I'm on night shift, I'll be around in the house in the morning when everybody's out. So I'll be the one babysitting. During that period, my mom started to feel pressured by what some family members were saying, like, this your daughter, you never wish me, she never at school where she dey go, never do. My younger sister's first child, when she had a naming ceremony, some of my dad's auntie came for the ceremony. They called me in a meeting in that naming ceremony. I can never forget. And they were telling me, Okbe, Rebecca, Ṣé o tí tó lọ́kọ ni? Are you not? It's not time for you to be married. Where is your husband? This your sister now has a child. My daddy is now aware. If he listens to this podcast now, is when he would know of this issue.
Happened.
They called a meeting on my head in the naming ceremony of my younger sister's first child.